So as an immigrant child, like I actually didn't know at the time, like even though I was always doing music and performing and all of that stuff, I didn't know that I could actually pursue a singing career. So bizarre because like that's all I did. Like even in high school, I hung out with metalheads. I was in a punk band.
Awesome. Well, I'm Adam. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And this is a podcast about you and your journey in music.
Awesome. Hey, quick question. Will this be aired via video or just voice?
We do video and voice.
Video. Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear your story. I love the video of you in the car at K-Rock, or when K-Rock plays your song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from radio. I did radio for a very long time. I actually worked with Miles for about 5 years. So
Are you serious?
yeah, it's cool to see his career really what it is now. I mean, working at K-Rock and being the music director. I worked with him at Live 105 in San Francisco for a while.
I remember him telling me that. Yeah. That's
Yes.
awesome. He's a really cool person.
Yeah, definitely a good tastemaker when it comes to music. So that's cool that he was doing that. But so first off, where were you born and raised? Did I see you're from the Bay Area, aren't you?
I am. So I was originally born in South Korea in a city called Incheon, which is like right next to Seoul. And then I moved to the States, to the Bay Area when I was 9. Then I grew up there, and then I decided to go to the East Coast for school. And then eventually I'm like, LA's where I've always wanted to be. So yeah, I ended up here in LA.
Wow. Okay. So you said you moved to the Bay Area when you were 9?
Yes.
Okay. What was it like? I mean, for your first 9 years being in South Korea, it must have been a definitely a culture shock moving to California.
It was such a culture shock. I mean, like, first of all, I didn't know English when I
Oh,
moved.
wow. Okay.
So like I wasn't prepped. So I only knew like half of the alphabet, and like I knew how to say hi, and that's it. And I have a question. So those were the 2 words. So like it was a huge culture shock. And I didn't know like where San Jose or like San Francisco was. So because all I heard about in Korea when I was living there was like LA and New York. So
Right.
like that was bizarre. But yeah,
You're like,
so
I'm going to California, so I must be close to LA. And literally, you're like 10 hours.
exactly.
You
And
know?
what's funny is my parents got the wrong info from our like aunts and uncles because they've never been to California at the time. So they're like, oh, you're going to California. It's so hot there. It's the desert. You don't need to bring anything, no warm clothes. Like, don't bring any of your like silverware, china, like nothing. Just come and everything will be there. So we're like, and then my parents were like, okay, yeah, so pack light, just bring the necessities. Yeah, totally wrong.
Yeah. Then you get there and you're like, not only is it not that hot. I don't know. You said you're in San Jose?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, San Francisco is like 50 degrees like all the time. I mean, San Jose is still pretty cold for half the year at least.
Exactly. And it gets like foggy sometimes and it's cold. So, it's colder than LA. And LA
Oh
gets
yeah,
cold sometimes.
definitely. And yeah, and LA can get cold for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you moved there having nothing really and don't know English. That must have been difficult. I mean, it doesn't sound like English is your second language.
Yeah.
So was that something you were able to pick up quite quickly, or like what was it like kind of in that transitionary period from like 9, 10? I mean, you're going into middle school-ish at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started in 5th grade. It was very challenging, but I think my brother and I basically just kind of like picked it up really fast. So I took this class called like ESL, like ELD,
Yeah,
English
yeah.
Second Language, and I
I grew up
passed.
in California. We had quite a few of those
Oh, so
classes.
you know what's up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I passed that in 6 months. So
Whoa.
it was bizarre. Yeah. And then I remember getting like, really like sore, like, when you're like, as a kid, when you're just like stressed out or tired, like I had ear infections. I was getting all types of like bizarre illnesses because I was so stressed out as a kid. But yeah, I eventually learned English, and instead of like going to ESL, which is like a separate class you had to be pulled out of your core class to go to for like 2 hours. I wanted to be part of like the main class. So I was like, okay, I gotta pass this thing so that I can like be with my new friends. So yeah,
Right.
but
Wow.
It was good. Yeah.
With music, is that something that you learned, like, were you in piano lessons as a kid, or do you come from like an artistic or musical household at all?
Definitely. So my mom was a choir singer even before she
Wow.
had me. So I remember like she told me that even when she was pregnant with me, she would go to her choir like singing rehearsals. And then even after I was born, like I would always see my mom like singing around the house, just like, listening to music. So music's always kind of been in my family. In terms of me actually like singing and performing and acting, I did that since I was like 4. That's my earliest memory. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you were
Even
in voice
mhm.
lessons and stuff when you were still in Korea?
Voice lessons, no, actually.
Oh,
I didn't start taking voice lessons till way later.
okay.
Um, but I definitely took like piano lessons, the violin lessons, yeah, all of that.
Wow.
But I was like a weird misfit. So I actually didn't enjoy my piano lessons because it was like a thing that we all kind of did.
Mhm.
So I felt like I didn't have a choice in the beginning. So I was like, I'll do piano, but I also want to take on like string instruments. So that was like kind of different thing to do. So I did that, and then I got into hip hop dancing. So I took like my mom took me to ballet lessons, and I was like, I don't want to do ballet. It's like way too restricting. So
Mhm.
I want to take it to the streets.
I
So
wanna take it to the
yeah,
streets.
like as kids, I remember in literally in 3rd grade, I did a recital with like 5 of my other friends, and it was like to a K-pop song. And that was like
Really?
my like exposure to like hip hop. And I was like, that's what I want to learn. Yeah.
That's cool. My son is in hip hop dance. He
Are you
he
serious?
yeah, he loves it. He's 7. No, he's not. Yeah, he's 7. Yeah, but that's like, yeah, he loves hip hop dance.
That's
It's
I'll
cool
have
to
to check
watch
out
like the
his movies.
kids. Yeah, and like, you see the older kids that are just ridiculously good. And I
Yeah.
never really was interested in it until he was interested in it. And now I'm like, damn, like this is so cool.
Yeah. You have to take classes with him. He'll probably, little
He's way
kids will say
good.
hip hop dance is so cute. And like, does he wear like baggy pants?
Oh yeah, they make him
Oh
like his most recent or 2 recitals ago, they got to pick like they had to wear basketball jerseys and like the baggy pants. Like he was Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers, and like you got to pick kind of who you wanted to be. But like, yeah, the most recent one, I think they were in like Letterman jackets,
yeah.
but the big like
So
acid wash,
cute.
baggy jeans and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
really cute. And they're so little. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's funny. Yeah, it's really yeah, it's cool. It's really cool to watch. But
Yeah.
so you did dance, but like what about like singing or songwriting, or
Yeah.
did you continue playing, like you said violin, was that something that you continued doing?
Yeah, when it was time for my family to immigrate to America, basically like I had to I was doing music, but like and singing alone, playing instruments, learning about classical music theory and things like that. And
Mhm.
then it was when I came to America, I basically didn't like again, I didn't know English and I didn't have friends. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like find friends and see if I could like do something fun together. And it ended up being music, obviously. So I made 2 Korean friends in San Jose. By the way, it's 11:11 a.m. right now. So we have to like
Oh
manage.
wow. I've been seeing that number so often lately. It's like bizarre. Like every
That's a
time I look
sign.
at the clock. Yeah, I
That
know it
means
is.
you're on the perfect path right now.
Oh, that's good to
Yes,
know. Yeah, I've
yes.
been getting into numerology. I don't know if that's something you're interested in.
I'm so interested in that. Yeah. So
Oh,
right
it's
now
wild.
it's this is the moment right now. This is great.
This is the moment. Yeah, are you I'm a what is it called? I'm an 11. I am an 11. Like which is like the some power number or something. I don't know. I have to get deeper into it,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's
I
interesting.
love 22. So number 2 is like my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, cool. All right.
Anyway, going back to the story now. Oh,
Yeah.
11:11. Okay. Yeah, so I made 2 friends, my 2 friends who are Korean in San Jose. And then so the 2 friends and I created like a K-pop group together. And then I also made another girl group at my public school with like girls from different backgrounds, not just like Koreans. So it was
Okay.
like an American pop band and like a K-pop band. And that's kind of how I started, learning how to sing better, and just like being in a group, made music in the garage and recorded. And that's how I learned English, actually.
Really? Just from being in the band or in that
Yeah.
group? Would you
Yeah.
perform and stuff? Even with
I
the
was
K-pop? Yeah. Would you guys write your own songs, or did you have somebody that would write your songs for you?
We
Or
mainly did covers.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we mainly did covers. So like with a K-pop band, we kind of just like recorded and made videos and acted like we were hosts on a music like channel,
Oh,
like
like an
on
MTV?
TV. Yeah, and then we would be the host and the audience, and then like we would also be the K-pop band. And then so we didn't perform that much with the K-pop band, but with my band at school, we performed at every chance we did. I also got involved in musical theater. I also like volunteered to be the news anchor for our morning announcements at school. And I
Oh,
remember
cool.
like the communications director was like, "Oh, that's good, but you can't speak English yet like fluently. So how would you like do the announcements?" And I was like, "I will read the teleprompter." And I remember, okay, so they let me do it, but yeah, it was a learning curve.
But
So,
you got to learn the teleprompter. They actually had a teleprompter at the school. They're
yeah.
like, okay,
Oh
we'll
yeah.
break that out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Wow,
a
that's
TV
cool.
screen with like obviously like chunks of words, and then they
Yeah,
just kind of,
yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
still, that's
Yeah.
cool. You said
Yeah.
you went to college on the East Coast.
Yes.
Was it for like music or musical theater, or like
No,
why'd you
actually,
move to New York? Or it was in New York? Is that what you said?
it was in Boston.
Oh, Boston. Oh, did you go to Berkeley?
I went to Boston University.
Okay.
Yeah. So the story behind that is, so as an immigrant child, like I actually didn't know at the time, like even though I was always doing music and performing and all of that stuff, I didn't know that I could actually pursue a singing career. So bizarre, because like that's all I did. Like
Mhm.
even in high school, I hung out with metalheads. I was in a punk band.
Oh, no way. Okay, I want to hear
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
real quick. So, okay, so
What?
when you're in, I want to hear about that real quick before we
Oh
do.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when you were in high school, you were in a band. Were you singing? And what
I
about
was
like writing the
singing.
songs, or would you guys just do covers as well?
Yeah, so first we started with covers, and then me and my girlfriends, we created a punk rock band, and sometimes like we would write, but I don't think I started like actively writing. For me, it was like really focusing on the vocals and like performance.
Hmm.
Um, and then all my guy friends from high school were like long hair metalheads. Like we just, yeah, we just like did stupid stuff, and then we would hang out in the garage and then go to shows, and then perform and things like that. So I think high school is when I really got in touch with my like emo punk rock, black and death metal self.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think in college, I got more into like that trap, hip hop vibe and dance music. So I feel
Okay,
like for different phases. And
sure.
then eventually kind of when it was time for me to do my music, I kind of molded all the different influences over the years.
Okay, and with the like you said, you go to shows and stuff. Like, what bands were you into
Oh
at the
my
time
God.
in high school?
So
I'm just curious.
in high school, like rock bands, I loved Children of Bodom. They're like a
Okay,
heavy
yeah,
metal band.
heavy metal band. Yeah.
Yeah, Bowling for Soup.
Okay, yeah.
Like AFI, obviously, Nirvana, and then there's Avril Lavigne, then,
Sure.
yeah, so there's,
Okay.
I liked, I think Paramore came a little later, but yeah, like all the,
Yeah, they
yeah,
were like in the early mid to early, I guess
2000,
2009
yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
something like that.
So Blink
Um,
182, obviously, Simple
yeah.
Plan, Yellow Card was good too,
Oh,
like,
sure. They got the
yeah,
hits.
definitely
Um,
stuck to me at the time.
okay. So what did you go to Boston for? Like what took you then to Boston?
Yeah, so basically, funny story. I was dating my first boyfriend in high school at the time, and then like we broke up, and I was like, I just wanted to get out of the city from San Jose. And then basically I was like, and then I found out about Boston University having like a good hospitality business program. And for some reason, I was like into hospitality, like hotels and restaurant developments. And I still love that, part of the world as well.
Mhm.
So I found out they had a really good program. So I was like, okay, I'll go there. Didn't know where Boston was on the map at all, but I just wanted to get out and go as far away as I can at the time.
Good, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because even though I was like a business major, I basically like outside of taking classes, I was literally like hip hop dancing and singing and just like finding every outlet to just be creative. So
Mhm. And
yeah.
then you ended up what, moving to LA from Boston? Or like when do you start your project? Because I know you put like what, EP out in 2017. I don't know if that's the first music you put out.
Yeah, so that's actually first like body of work I put out professionally to the
Okay.
universe. But before that, so after I graduated, I again being like an immigrant, I had to get like a job to
Right.
support myself and pay off my loans and things like that. So I ended up getting a job, a consulting job at a company called Accenture, which is like a global IT like management consulting company. So
Mhm.
that was cool for a little bit. But again, I was always kind of living this like dual life-ish where like I was doing this stuff, like business consulting stuff, like traveling all over the world. And it was cool. Like my first client was Disney. So I
Wow.
go to like Disney theme parks and resorts like every single week from like
That's
Monday to
amazing.
Thursday. It's amazing, but then like after, doing it for like 6 months, you're like, okay, Disney doesn't look like the happiest place on earth anymore.
Right.
Like working. But anyway, so yeah, so I was just doing that kind of became my like day job kind of thing as an artist. And then I think a couple of years later, I eventually, when I was doing both, I eventually realized I'm like, I need to go after my music full time. But even then I couldn't just like let go because again, I had to like support myself.
Right. You can't just, you're like, I'm
Luckily,
going to the streets. I'm just gonna try to do the
yeah, I'm gonna
music
take it to the
thing.
street.
Take
um,
us back to whatever, like fifth grade when I started doing hip hop dance and take it to
Exactly,
the streets.
exactly. But yeah, so during that time when I was at Accenture and consulting, like I ended up getting into modeling. I don't think I mentioned this, but I also had a health scare where I was half
Oh,
blind out of my right eye
oh
during
my
college.
gosh.
Yeah, I had juvenile glaucoma when I was 19, and this was like the summer after sophomore year when I was like, I told my parents, I'm like, I'm not coming home. I'm gonna go to New York. I'm gonna go after my music and my entertainment dreams.
Mhm.
So I ended up joining a girl band, and I started doing like random music videos. And then I also ended up getting like internships and jobs, right, in
Uh-huh.
Soho. And I was doing that. I thought I was finally going after my dream as a singer. And then like a month and a half later, I woke up and I couldn't see out of my right eye. So that took me on a different whirlwind of a situation. I ended up getting surgery. But basically, even after the surgery, the doctors were like, you can't do anything that causes a lot of pressure out of your right eye until you heal. So I had to
Uh-huh.
stop singing, dancing, and yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Oh
But
my gosh. Is your
yeah,
eye all right now?
it's okay now. So I just can't wear contacts on this eye. So whenever I'm not wearing glasses, I'm literally just wearing one contact lens on the
You can
left
only
side.
see out of your left eye.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
right
it's like
now you
I can
can't see me out of
see.
it.
It's like
Okay.
it's super blurry. But
Oh
I've
wow.
learned to operate and do everything with just like, yeah.
The one eye. Oh
Your
my
body's really
gosh.
magical. You just kind of adapt to.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So
Well, so you had to take a break then from dancing and singing for a while just so that could heal up.
yeah, and I think that's also what kind of exposed me to the world of like consulting and like the business world.
Mhm.
Because, you know, during that time when I was going through my eye, it was very dark. And that's also the time when I realized I'm like, hey, like, I learned about substance. I learned about how important it is to have like good relationships and learn about relationships and like depth.
Mhm.
Because before my eye happened, I was, I was a kid and I was just kind of like all over the place, but I still kind of am. But I just like kind of looked at things from the outside.
Right.
But when I happened, and that whole time I had to kind of seek peace within me. And then like when things were kind of looking dark out of this eye, I was like kind of sad and going through all these things, but I had to find ways to still move forward. And during that time, I also realized, who's really there for me and who wasn't. Because
Oh,
when
I
you're going through
bet.
a hard time, you see like some people exit out of your life, some people come into your life, or some people just stay in your life. So I
Mhm.
learned that. Yeah, and then eventually I got out of it, and it was during the time I had to look for, what am I gonna do after graduation? So I got the job. Yeah, so long
And then
story.
you yeah, no, 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 no. And then
Yeah.
from there, you at what at a point you said, you know what, I want to continue to the music thing. So you just start? What did you have like that first EP? Was that something that you had been working on for a while, or like kind of tell me where that picks up?
Yeah, so after the I and graduating and stuff like that, I didn't want to go into like I didn't have that much confidence at the time because like I was literally just kind of like not seeing out
Right.
of one eye for a while and surgery and
Yeah.
everything. So I got discovered by like I ran into a fashion like photographer when I was in Boston, and he's the one that kind of asked me, he's like, hey, there's like a modeling competition in Boston and for New England, and he's like, you should do it. And I was like, no way. I just literally started seeing again. And then eventually I did it. And then I ended up doing really well and winning. And I
Wow.
think that like gave me that confidence to be like, okay, like we're gonna do this again. And it gave me that confidence. Fast forward to music, a couple years later, I basically was like, even after doing the modeling thing for a while, I also published a book called the Cupcake
Wow.
Theory. So dabbling in all these things, and I did pretty well, but I
What
realized like,
was, I'm curious, what was the book about? Was it just like
oh,
a nonfiction or fiction book or?
it's a nonfiction book. It's called the Cupcake Theory, and it's a self-help inspirational book on self-worth and healthy relationships. So that book, the idea of that book is all about having substance and being yourself and being your own cake.
Mhm.
Like when you look
Yeah.
at a cupcake, there's the muffin and the frosting, right?
Right.
And many times when we go to like a bakery, we pick the cupcakes based on like how pretty it looks and things like
Right.
that. But but what's important is actually like the muffin itself. So I made this theory. It came out after a breakup, right after I healed from my eye thing. And then I had another situation in life. And then that's when I realized I'm like, oh, okay. Not only do I have to have substance and depth and like seek meaning with things outside of our bodies, like externally, but it's also good to seek that in your relationships with others. So
Mhm.
so anyway, so the book,
Wow.
but I still wasn't really happy and like fully satisfied. And I think it was because music is really what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And there were all these like curveballs from immigrating from Korea to America to my eye and things like that. So it was like 2013 when I woke up after publishing the book and stuff, and I was like not happy. I was just in bed feeling really down. I'm like, I just feel so empty. I feel like I've done so much, but I'm feeling empty. And then that's when I realized I'm like, I need to obey my soul, which is going after music. So that's when I started to, seek out and join different musicians groups, get myself involved in songwriting and ASCAP and meeting all types of friends. And then I started working on the first EP Freedom in 2014, 2015, and then 16, and then released it in 2017.
Wow. Okay. And
Yeah.
once, so you got, yeah, you have a lot going on. That's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so many facets of, entertainment and creativity. And when you put out Freedom EP, was that the point where you're like, this is what I want, I need to keep pursuing this? Or were you kind of still doing other, little things
Yeah,
aside from the
I kind
music?
of like, I had opportunities and things like that. But music's kind of become my priority. The moment I decided and realized like, that is what I need to like, that's what I need to go after. And I've been running from it for so long. I was like, I need to nurture that kid in
Mhm.
me and bring out AZRA and like nurture that. So ever since then, it's just been pretty much music. Yeah, but like I'm totally open to getting involved in other projects, and I do like I try to incorporate it, but it's all centered around music.
Okay. And you have an
Yeah,
EP coming out, right? The later this month?
I do. I do.
Okay. Well, so are some of these songs, I mean, you've released a ton of singles after, that EP was released. Like
Hmm.
what is have you started releasing stuff off of that? Like is Bring Me the Crown going to be on the EP and All Out, the one that we were talking about earlier that was on K-Rock, or are those songs that are going to be a part of this project?
Yes. So All Out, which is the single that was on K-Rock, released that in March. And then there's another single called I Wish You Cry. And that was released in April, and then Bring Me the Crown. So all of those will be part of the Chronicles of Substance, the Rebellion universe. Yes. So those will.
Oh, is it like the rebellion universe, is this like a concept that's going to move forward? Like, tell me about this.
Yes. Yes. So do you know the name of the EP?
I don't think
Nice.
so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I do. Is it is it Welcome to the Sixth Dimension or no?
No. But the sixth dimension is kind of like it's like the world that I've created and that me and my audience and my AZRA deity share.
Okay.
But the EP basically, it's like the Freedom EP in 2017 was like the freedom, right? It's like finally letting myself out, accepting that music is my destiny type of thing. And
I
then
do
like,
know the name of the EP. Sorry, keep going.
oh, okay. So with this upcoming EP, it's kind of like the next chapter
Okay.
from like evolve from freedom. And in between this upcoming EP and freedom, I released about like, I think like 12, around 12 singles.
Yeah, you
Just
put out a
kind
bunch
of,
of music.
yeah, just putting out a bunch of music, kind of really working on my sound. And I think this body of work that I'm releasing that includes the 3 songs, I feel very, very excited because I feel like I finally definitely found the sound that I've been looking for. But I'm going to continue to evolve that.
Okay. So this I mean, I don't know if you've released the title of the EP, so I don't want to say it, but it's going to be like, is it like a piece of multiple projects moving forward, or?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
all secretive. Got it.
No, I'll share. No, I think it's no, I don't mind sharing at all. So it's kind of like every song that I share and release, it kind of is a little snippet of, it's like a little piece of the sixth dimension, and it tells a story. So the EP definitely has a whole storyline. It's a continuation of all the songs that I've shared, but yeah, it's like it'll definitely have sequels and things afterwards too.
Okay. And so the sixth dimension is well, tell me about the sixth dimension. I guess I don't know much about it.
Okay.
So I want to kind of
So,
hear that piece and how it relates then to the projects.
yeah. So the sixth dimension is like a shift in your mindset and your perspectives. And it's a world that I've created for my listeners, my fans, and people to kind of tap into when they're listening to
Okay.
my music or just like interacting with me or whatever. So it's a shift in mindset, and it's a place where you can go after your dreams. You can let go of all your inhibitions and you can be yourself 100% and just go after your dreams unapologetically.
I love that. That's a cool
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great concept for the project. And moving forward, like, you're going to release the EP, and then are you going to do a bunch of shows? I know you played recently, right, at the Hotel Cafe, or
So
is that one?
yeah, I will be playing at the Hotel Cafe on July 28th.
Oh
So
yeah, that's coming up. I was thinking it was June 28th. Sorry, I've got all my dates mixed up.
I know, same here. There's something going on in the universe right now.
Yeah, it was at 11:11. It smacked me across the face.
It's doing good things to all of us. But yeah, so it's on 7/28. So the same day as the EP release, I'll be performing at the Hotel Cafe. It's gonna be like a fun celebration and a show. So I'm really excited. You should come out if you're around.
I'm in Nashville now, but if I was still in San Diego, I would have came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but well, that's exciting. So that they're gonna release the EP that day, and then do a show at the Hotel Cafe, which is a rad venue.
Yeah, it's a cool venue. It's very legendary and I love it. Like they've been so amazing to me. I've only performed at their second stage room in the past, but this one's gonna be in the main stage, so I'm really excited.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
cool. Very, very cool.
the energy in there is so good. Like the whole venue, it's just very warm and like welcoming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of the EP, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for doing this, Azra.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have one more question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Ooh. Advice for aspiring artists. I would say if you want to go after music, definitely go after it. And it's really not about that. I mean, it's good to have the dream. It's good to have that vision. We should always have it. But what's really, really important in the artist journey is trying and actually doing it, and then appreciating the process and celebrating every single win. So, and understanding what your definition of success is. I think that's really, really important. I have a quote that I like to share with people, and it's a mantra that I go by, and it's follow your passion, create your own show. The world is your stage, for anything you can imagine is possible.
Bringing it backward.